Today, I'm going to show you guys how to cook a quick Chinese meal in 30 minutes. So it's really easy to do. First of all, show you guys how to cook some rice. So get a rice cooker and then mix some brown rice with white rice. The reason you want to do that is to produce a very special effect. In my childhood, we always try to cook the rice in such a way the bottom part of the rice in contact with the cooking pan is browned. So therefore you have that kind of hardened and chewy crust at the bottom. So when you mix that rice together, then you feel that nice texture in your mouth. But it's very hard to do that. It takes some skill because if you're not careful, you would just burn this whole thing. But today, we can do this with a rice cooker and to produce that effect of crunchy bottom. So I just use some brown rice because brown rice takes longer time to cook than the white rice. So now you mix that together. I do about typically half cup brown rice and 1.5 cup white rice. Well, with the rice cooking, so half is done. So pour yourself a glass of 2/3 is done. So we just need to deal with the last 1/3. Okay, here is the material we have. We got beef, and we got onion here, and then we have chili pepper. And you can imagine this onion is gonna be white, and you gotta have green, red, and then the beef red, Chinese spring onion. So that's all different color combination. That's very nice. But here, I just want to talk more about the beef here. I just want to tell you guys, Chinese don't know how to cook beef. So don't follow any of the Chinese recipe on the internet you get. I mean, most of them. The reason is because Chinese don't eat beef. Like in my hometown, we didn't have any beef. Actually, we didn't have any beef cattle. We have water buffalo. But we don't kill the water buffalo for its meat until the water buffalo couldn't walk anymore, so old. So you can imagine the meat is very chewy, tough. So the typical way we cook beef is just to cook beef stew. Alternatively, you just chop this beef into ground beef and then you fry it so then you can chew that. Or you can just add a lot of tenderizer to it or beaten it up so therefore it becomes tender. So that's typically how beef is cooked in Chinese dish. So that's why when you go to an inexpensive Chinese restaurant, you get all this beef cooked with a lot of tenderizer. So that's how beef is handled traditionally in Chinese cuisine. Here in the United States, we have much better beef here, like a piece of steak here. When you cook this kind of beef, your job is try not to destroy the beef, to preserve that juicy steak. So now I've got everything here. I got a meat here. I cut this meat into sort of a cube or just big chunk. You just want to make sure you don't destroy it. So when you cook, you can preserve the juicy feeling of this good steak. And here's some onion. You notice I have enormous amount of vegetables here. And I also got here more vegetables on this side. This chili pepper here. The reason is that I cook a small amount of meat, but a tremendous amount of vegetables. Here, just one dish, I have everything, meat and vegetables. And also I cook such quantity, so therefore I can have dinner here and also tomorrow lunch. So first of all, let's prepare the meat here. Just add a bit of olive oil, and then you can add a small little bit of a cornstarch. Again, the purpose is to coat the surface, so therefore when you cook this steak, you preserve that juicy feeling. So mix it. Okay, next we prepare the sauce. As I mentioned before, the Chinese cooking is you have meat, you have vegetable, both very delicious and juicy. And then you have to coat the surface of both meat and vegetables with some sauce. So the key is to prepare the rich flavor sauce here. As always, you have cornstarch. So a little bit cornstarch. Chicken stocks. 1 spoon sugar. Put some vinegar there to neutralize that sweet feeling. So give it about 1 little tablespoon. Salt. Soy sauce. It's one spoon. Now cooking wine. So 2 spoons. That's it. So now you have a sauce. First, just my ginger roots and garlic. You just want to fry this until the ginger roots is browned. My chili pepper. So when you fry this kind of dish, you want to make sure you don't destroy the vegetable. Keep it as really as fresh as possible. So the cooking pan is still very clean, so you don't have to wash it. Now cook the onion here. So the key with the onion is that it's so delicious, so sweet. Again, you don't want to destroy it. You don't want to overcook it. So you just want to cook it just as little as possible. So as you stir fry this, the onions start to separate into pieces. Once they're all separated, then that should be good enough. Okay, take this out. Now ready for the beef. So all you try to do is just to brown the beef so you don't destroy the beef. Keep it as juicy as possible. So like a steak, it's kind of medium rare. Finally, my tomato, that's optional. You don't really have to use it. I just love the color from the tomato and also the flavor. Again, you don't want to cook this too much. You want that really, really delicious flavor still in it. Now just add all the materials back. Now you just mix them together and then add your sauce. That's how you add flavor to it. Finally, your spring onion. So now you can tell your family dinner is ready. So let me show you guys. Brown rice here, you notice here, mixed with the white rice. So it's almost like just like those tradition of the crunchy crust you get on your cooking pan. And then here's your beef, your stew, juicy like steak. So inside is probably stew, right? And then you have this pepper and your tomato and the onion should be still crunchy. So that is a basic principle of cooking Chinese dish. Make sure you don't destroy anything. Keep the original flavor of the meat, the vegetables, and then you just cook this as little as possible to preserve that delicious original flavor. And then you just coat the surface with the flavor you need. So that is simple meal. Good for today. Good for tomorrow's lunch as well. Let me just have a piece.